Hey everybody, my name's Jason Waffle and I'm part of the Shure Pro Audio Market Development team. Big thank you to Sound Devices for including us in this year's Sound Summit virtual trade show event. 2020 has brought a lot of interesting things, but I think it's pretty awesome that we're all getting together to try to talk about some products still and show you guys what we've got going on. So in this video, I'm gonna cover Axient Digital top to bottom. It's a huge family of products. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so get ready to ingest quite a bit of information. So essentially, we're going to start with what I like to call the Axient Digital core values. And those core values are incredible audio quality and incredibly reliable RF architecture. So the audio fidelity in Axient Digital comes from 20 to 20K frequency response, as well as 120 dB of dynamic range. Essentially, you're going to clip whatever microphone element you have plugged into your transmitter long before you clip the A to D conversion that takes place. So a very high quality A to D chip, a little bit of secret sauce in there. And then the RF side is a true digital diversity modulation scheme platform. So what you're kind of used to from an analog world in terms of end of range degradation or the wisps and the whooshes and the all of those sounds, none of that exists in Axient Digital. You either have 100% crystal clear audio or a very silent mute. Those are the only two options, and more often than not, you get the 100% crystal clear audio. So we've included some packet loss, some error correction makeup. There's a Q meter that provides the quality of the link versus your traditional RSSI indicator. So from an RF platform and an audio platform at its core, Axient Digital is a fantastic wireless audio product. Moving on, we're going to start with our receivers. We've got two options of receivers available to market right now. There's a dual and a quad rack mount receiver. Both of these receivers have XLR, tip ring sleeve, AES, and Dante built in. They both have a full 4-port switch, so you could have a primary and a secondary for your control and a primary and a secondary for your Dante, and you can customize how this switch functions. Additionally, these receivers also have a DC powering option. So for those of you that are using a DC powered cart, you can DC power our Axient Digital receivers on your cart. Up next, we're going to talk about transmitters, and this is where the family really gets impressive. There are kind of three suites of transmitters, and I'm going to go through all three of them. The first one being AD, the second ADX, and the last is our Q5X partnership. So first off, we have the AD1. So anything that is AD has those core values I talked about from an incredibly robust RF infrastructure and great audio quality. What it's missing is the X, and the X is our show link capability, meaning that there's the bi-directional communication. And we're going to touch more on that in a minute, but just so you know, anything that's AD does not have show link. So AD1, the AD2, which is our hand mic without a capsule, and then our recently released plug-on transmitter, the AD3, as you can see here. Pretty cool features about this. The one I love the most is that it's got a USB-C port on the bottom that kind of acts as like its own battery backup. So if you are using one of our rechargeables, the SB900, which is this battery here, and you have it plugged into the USB-C, if you were to unplug from the USB-C, the battery would take over instantly. You basically have like an uninterruptible power supply for your AD3 that you could run off a power bank. So that's the AD family. Next up is ADX. We have the ADX1. You can see the body pack style is a little bit different than the AD1. There's a little bit of different form factor, as well as the ADX1 is a little bit thinner. The biggest difference about ADX is you cannot use AA's. So the whole AD family, you could use AA's or a rechargeable battery that we make. For the ADX portion, we have our own customizable, or custom, rechargeable batteries that we built, and that's to increase your runtime. So you get some better stats in the ADX family as well. Also, you get ShowLink, which is the bidirectional remote control that I spoke of. So ADX1, this is our ADX2, very similar to the AD2. This one's in nickel. We do make it in black, obviously, but there's a little bit of a form factor difference. It's a little bit thinner, but it's hard to tell on this camera. Next up in the line's the ADX1M. This is our micro body pack, super tiny, super thin, super ergonomic, right? So these curved edges that are soft, the polycarbonate design, no external antenna. So the antenna is internal to this body pack, LiMo 3 connector because it's sweat and water resistant. You can see how small this transmitter is if I hold it up next to this ADX1, especially that antenna sticking off at the top there, right? So ADX1M, very hideable, very ergonomic, very small body pack. And then finally, the ADX2FD. FD stands for frequency diversity. Basically, this hand mic has 2 different radios. It's going to transmit on 2 different frequencies at the same time. This is a redundant thing. The receiver will automatically select the best frequency for the best audio. So if RF1 took a hit, we would listen to RF2 and there would be no audible change. You can do that with our body packs as well. The difference is you do have to double pack the person. You can do that right now. You double pack people all the time. The difference is you have to either select the track in post, crossfade, or mute at the mixer. In our scenario, the receiver does all of that for you, so it spits out one stream of audio from both packs without you knowing the difference, and it's always selecting the best frequency. So that's frequency diversity mode. Lastly, in the transmitter family, we have our partnership with Q5X or Quantum. Quantum's been around for a while, most of you know who they are, but now they make Axient digital enabled quantum form factors. So here's the player mic. This is the Q5X Axient digital player mic. It's very thin. It's like a rubber kind of super soft material. It also flexes. Pretty cool, right? We see this used in the NBA primarily, some in the NHL, other sports applications. Very thin, very small, very hideable, very comfortable, and very safe for physical activity to wear. So that's the player mic. Last in the Axient digital transmitter lineup is the Aqua mic. This is the aluminum, very rugged housing. It's completely sealed, waterproof transmitter. It's got a 6-pin LiMo connector at the top. That's so you can charge the battery through this port. You can also get audio through this port. So there's no other openings, and that's because it is so waterproof, right? Its own back channel remote control antenna for their version of ShowLink, and then the UHF antenna off the top. So if you were to compare kind of, here's the micro, there's the Aqua mic in terms of size, waterproof, water resistant, and then the player mic is fairly small but still has that antenna on the top. Lastly, in the Axient digital family is the really awesome features that we've built in terms of remote control and smart RF intelligibility. So the ShowLink is your 8610 access point. And so this is a PoE Cat5 powered device that works in Zigbee. Somewhere in the Wi-Fi channels, it will make its own determination of where it needs to live. And this is how we remote control these ADX transmitters in terms of gain, power, frequency, RF mute. Any setting that you can change on an ADX transmitter, you can remotely change via the front of a receiver or the software wireless workbench that we provide you for free. Additionally, the top unit in this rack back here is my Spectrum Manager, and the Spectrum Manager does exactly as it's named. It manages your spectrum. So when you couple a Spectrum Manager with a ShowLink as well as ADX transmitters, you get what is an incredibly self-managed RF ecosystem. The Spectrum Manager's got 8 radios. It searches the space to make sure that the best frequencies inside your venue or your location are the ones you're using. And when it detects interference on a frequency that you are using, it's going to say, hey, there's interference. I've got a place that you can move to. I know it's a good frequency because I've been looking at it for the last 7 hours. And here, just make the switch. And within 60 to 90 milliseconds, your body pack or your hand mic, your transmitter, is going to receive that information over the ShowLink from your Spectrum Manager, and it's going to change frequencies simultaneously with your receiver, thus avoiding any major RF dropouts or concerns. So the Spectrum Manager really does that job. It manages your spectrum for you. ShowLink allows you to remote control all of your devices either manually or with a Spectrum Manager automatically. And then the rest of the family of AD allows you to pick a transmitter for any possible scenario you may need. So that's my really quick Axient digital rundown. We really hope you'll reach out to us if you have questions, if you need a demo, or if you need any more information about what Shure has to offer. Please get in touch with myself. Sound Devices, Sound Summit, thank you so much for having us. See you guys.